we're clear. Welcome back, guys. This is episode 90 of Utopian Community. Let's talk about some topics as the world loads up. One thing you might not notice is that the bird inspiring the main protagonist of Rio is extinct in the wild, but not fully extinct yet. We are their last chance for survival. We as humans are their last chance for survival. Repopulation. We're gonna catalyze it. One aspect of capitalism is, for starters, the presence of antitrust laws that prevent companies from cooperating with one another. That's the whole point of antitrust laws. To prevent cooperation. The truth is out there. Nazism what can make... One thing we're gonna do to help fight habitat destruction that's going on in our society now is to abolish capitalism. Capitalism ultimately leads to conflict. How did Hitler put so many people in poverty? He did that through the use of militarism, which is something I am against. What's wrong with capitalism? For starters, it leads to suffering of not only... leads to suffering of all the people in the developing world. Doesn't just... It leads to suffering of people in developing countries. For starters. Second, it leads to the suffering of farm animals, who are cramped into tiny ass sheds. This is why we need to end capitalism. This is why capitalism must go down the drain. One of the most infamous forms of anti-communism is called fascism. Capitalism ultimately leads to... I'd blame the suffering of the animals on capitalism. My personal opinion. Our over-dependence on meat is destroying the earth, literally. We need to reduce our dependence on meat. But we can only do it on so many different types of animals, because cats as a species, they must eat meat. Which means we can't completely get rid of the meat industry. We can't completely get rid of it. Because some animals out there that are pets too are obligate carnivores. For cats, it's a biological necessity. What happens when you raise your children to be entitled, or self-entitled? The consequences of doing so is your children are more likely to break the law. Whether it be blowing shit up, literally. Blowing shit up would be one of those things they might think about doing. It's one of the consequences of raising your children to be self-entitled to everything under the sun. What can we do to reduce the dropout rate? Improve our education. Sometimes what can drive people into dropping out? Being brainwashed by neo-Nazis. Promoting socialism, you're okay to do that on social media and YouTube. But you shouldn't promote fascism on social media. Because think of Evelyn. She promotes hatred. She promotes the discrimination against ethnic minorities. And denies the Holocaust. Then, ultimately, she ended up learning the truth when they got home to Canada from Germany. Like, they were being held like they were holding terrorists down. The reason our cats will do anything for meat is because they are obligate carnivores. Not omnivores like we're led to believe. There are animals out there that are strict carnivore. Even though defecting from North Korea carries a death sentence, some people still risk their lives to escape, even though it carries a death sentence. Keeping people from escaping their home country is it's a direct violation of human rights. Infamous example of such country that refused to let their citizens leave. One of the most infamous examples of such is North Korea. The leaders of Nazi Germany are they're the most infamous people on the face of our planet. We are number one. It's really sad that 2 months ago Robbie Rotten passed away. It's pretty sad. He'll always be number one. I was just popping my knuckles, that's all. I was just popping my knuckles. Hitler? He himself wasn't a bourgeoisie person. He was a Nazi. Hitler was a Nazi. Hitler was a Nazi. Hitler was a Nazi. Stalin was a jerk. Who was power hungry. Which is why the Fifth International was an anti-Stalinist organization. Fourth International, not the Fifth International. The Fourth International and beyond would go against what Stalin did. Trotsky was a better person, in my opinion, because he wanted to bring democracy to to Lenin's oligarchy. How was Stalin evil? He kept Trotsky from becoming the General Secretary of the Communist Party of the Soviet Union. Stalin was a jerk. So, he bullied his own people. Whether in some way. Some of it's due to his Stalin's great purges in the trial of 16. Khrushchev was a better person than Stalin. But what was bad about him? His nukes. His nukes were the worst part. his nukes were the worst part. This is why we need to end our nuclear weapons program. That been going on for almost 80 plus years. For almost 80 years. It's almost 90 years ago. No, it's almost 80 years ago that World War II started. I believe the only good war there ever was the only good wars there ever was World War I and World War II. Those were the last good wars there ever was. They were the last good wars. Then things started going downhill from there. Our problem with mass shootings, it's not the guns. We need more cops and counselors. Not just more counselors, but also more police officers. And after World War II, we betrayed them. America betrayed Russia. America actually betrayed Russia. In the first Red Scare, America betrayed the leftists. America betrayed the leftists. As it was in violation of freedom of speech. As it was in violation of our free speech and our free press. Lenin helped. One of the good things Vladimir Lenin did was put Russia out of totalitarian rule. And instead, the democracy, he went towards oligarchy. In the form of a one-party state. But Trotsky wanted to bring that oligarchy into democracy, but Stalin said, fuck no. Quote, fuck no. And when he took power, he slowly brought Soviet Russia from oligarchy to totalitarianism. If Stalinist Russia was totalitarian, Nazi Germany would be brutalitarian. Because of all the ethnic cleansing Hitler did. collective punishment for those who tried to help the Jews escape. And the death marches. I myself am not anti-Semitic. But, you know, I tend to criticize religion. Especially the Abrahamic religions, because they constrain us from doing our natural instincts. See, that's the problem with Abrahamic religions. See, that's my problem. This is one of my reasons to criticize all sorts of religion. It keeps us from following our natural instincts. Some of our natural instincts, we need those to survive. There's no need to hunt to survive. Worst thing Lenin, the best thing Lenin has done was brought Russia out of its abusive rule under Tsar Nicholas II. The worst thing he's done was cause the Red Terror. Same thing with the White Terror. Like, both in the Russian Civil War, both sides did some evil. Like, the ones loyal to Tsar Nicholas II ended up instigating something called the White Terror. White Terror. In the Russian Civil War, both sides did some horrible things. The Bolsheviks caused the Red Terror. The White Russians caused something called the White Terror. And in the meantime, I'm gonna check on my pumpkins again. Who's the one that brought Soviet Russia to so much poverty? Stalin. He used extreme force to force. He used brutal force to get the kulaks off their land. For me, if I would have ruled Soviet Russia, I would have asked them politely. instead of force them off their land. This is it for this video. Don't forget to leave a like if you liked this video, dislike if you disliked it, subs if you loved it. As always, stay tuned for more, and last but not least, peace out.